Let's bring in our legal guys, Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor joining us from Cleveland, and Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor joining us from, he should have a Hawaiian print shirt on, but he's got a suit on to kind of, you know, as a decoy. He's actually joining us from Honolulu after a little surfing this morning. You're killing me, Richard.
Good to see you. On underneath, Fred.
Oh, okay, just checking. Okay, well, this is an interesting case, gentlemen, because we're talking about a woman who is imposing this lawsuit. She says that a black woman should not be buried in this Jewish cemetery. But Avery, you first. Isn't the burial plot, isn't that in an area that's considered an interfaith plot? And wasn't this 72-year-old woman who was part of this contesting of this burial part of the original, I guess, agreement that it was okay to bury someone of another faith in this interfaith section?
Yeah, back in 2009, Frederica, the Colchester congregation opened up a section of the cemetery because of interfaith marriages and conversions. And the wonderful thing about that is that the deceased person, Juliet Steer, who actually was thinking of converting, she's African-American, this is where she wanted to be. She was buried there in 2010. Now, one of the congregants who voted for this change says, well, she's buried a little bit too close to my relatives, if you can believe that, and she wants the body exhumed. Well, about a month ago, a Superior Court judge in Connecticut, this is in Hartford, said that she can move forward with her case, and now she has to prove whether or not it's appropriate to exhume the body. I think she's going to lose this case, but it's a fascinating question, and it's sad for everyone, actually.
Yeah, well, Richard, it's interesting because Juliet Steer, she bought this plot because it was a peaceful location. There was an agreement that, you know, she was going to be buried in this location. They accepted her money, and now after her death and after accepting the money and after the agreement, why would the court not side with her estate? Why would the congregation be able to make this decision post-death, post-payment?
Because of this merger agreement that Avery mentioned back in '99, but the temple did authorize a certain section for interfaith marriages and non-Jewish people. This is just a disgusting case, Fred. This woman was 47 years old. She died of cancer. She selected this plot. They took her money, like you said. Even though her lawyer proclaims that her motives are pure, this is nothing but just blatant racism. This is horrible, and I hope that the judge will dismiss this immediately, or as soon as they can. This is just a horrific height of hypocrisy for this claim to be made like this.
And this woman, Juliet Steer, she's not the only one buried in that interfaith section, though, is she?
I think at this point, Fred, she is. She's the only person buried there. And but the fact of the matter is, they approved this area for this. They took her money. She carefully selected it. And she died at 47 of cancer. Give this poor woman a break. This is just horrific.
Okay, well, that case is not over. A hearing is planned for February 29th. Meantime, let's talk about another case, which is very unusual. This in the Chicago area. A young woman alleges that, she was stopped for a speeding ticket, gets a citation, and then not long after, she gets a note on her door, on the door of the windshield of her car, rather, from the police officer, saying that he wanted a date. So, Richard, she is now saying, she feels a little creepy about it. It's a violation of her privacy. She's actually suing the police officer, who, by the way, has not commented since this has become a legal case. What are her chances of this lawsuit, her privacy being violated?
Yeah, who does Miss Thing think she is? I mean, it took a lot for this police officer. It took a lot for him to leave a note on the windshield saying, listen,
Richard,
I'd like to take you to dinner. That's all. If you don't want to, throw it away, and that's the end of it.
Okay,
she's sued in federal district court.
That's not right.
Okay, can I read you a little bit of the note? It says, it's Chris. I'm that ugly, bald, stick-knee cop, that's the name of the area outside of Chicago, who gave you that ticket on Saturday. I know this may seem crazy, and you're probably right, but truth is, I have not stopped thinking about you since, and I don't expect a girl as attractive as you to even go for a guy like me, but I'm taking a shot anyways. But hey, I did cost you $132. At least, the least I can do is buy you dinner.
Yeah, that's right. And you want to know something, Frederica? Hold on. In 1994, Congress, after the murder by stalking of an actress, passed a law called the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, the DPPA. That is a federal law, and it prohibits police officers and other officials from using the data that they gain, like from a leads or other source, from doing exactly what Chris Collins, who's the defendant in this case. Creepy is an understatement. I mean, every person
he should have known better. He should have known that he crossed the line.
Forget it. It's a violation of federal law. Even if it's the immoral thing to do, I am glad that Evangelina Paradis, who brought this case, is doing it, because it's a principled, righteous case, and Americans have the right to be left alone. Can you imagine a single woman having to be exposed to this sort of thing? Good for her. I'm glad she's in federal court.
Okay, Richard, she says it made her very fearful and nervous, and she, you know, was filled with a whole lot of anxiety. You're just not feeling her testimony here.
I think it's so ridiculous. I mean, you look at the note, Fred. You just read excerpts from it. It's very, look, if you don't want it, don't come, throw it away. Come on. I think this guy is okay. I think she's completely overreacted.
Shame on him.
She sued the police chief. She sued the police division. She's in federal court seeking punitive damages. I think she may be a little nuts, this woman. So let's see. Hopefully, it gets
think about try to put yourself. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a woman. That's really outrageous to say that. With all due respect.
Either way, we knew that both of you would feel strongly about that case, and we know you feel strongly about the next case that we're going to be talking to you about in about 15 minutes from now. This is about a pregnant teenager who claims her family wants to force her to have an abortion. Can they do that by law? We'll see you soon, 15 minutes or so away.